Good morning, good afternoon, everybody, according to your time zones. I'm Dr. Zain Abdeen, and we're going to start our webinar. We have another speaker, Dr. Chaudhary, who is going to join shortly with us. He's going to explain a little bit more about how you guys can have the information related to research and why the research is number one important tool, like when you are applying for multiple like subspecialty residencies. Before that, we're gonna start with just like the general orientation about like how you guys should pursue when you start your American like residency program journey. A lot of people like have joined this webinar like from multiple countries, and we are trying to give you a roadmap so you can get how to apply for not just for the IM or FM or the other common subspecialties, but also you can apply for the competitive residency programs as well. And a lot of you are at the different level of your medical journey, such as medical students, IMGs, consultants who are already in the journey, and you guys want to know like what are your options you want to explore, and then a few of you are also in the position where you are full-fledged consultant in your country, but you want to move to the US and you're exploring some pathways where you have to invest less energy and less resources so you can settle as a doctor. And now in the US, it's possible. So we're going to start with the number one question which we get is like how to practice as a physician before residency or without residency in the US. There are factors in this question, like the one factor would be that do we have to take USMLE exam, or are there a few states where we can work without USMLE as well and without residency? So currently in the whole US, in among the 50 states, there are more than 20 states where you guys can work without residency, but not necessarily that you, but not in all of the states you can work without USMLE. There are a couple of states, but there are like in a lot of states you have to have the USMLE to get that license, and then you can start working as a physician before residency. We are going to keep this webinar a little bit more open and interactive, and we're going to provide you the opportunity to ask questions in the chat box. If let's suppose you want to ask a specific question from your perspective, that just type in the chat box and I would be happy to assist you in that question. And generally I'm going to give you the description of how you can build your network and how you can get these type of positions. For example, let's talk about the Illinois one. So recently, from the Illinois journey, it was started back in couple of years, like back in 2022, when the COVID season was on peak. But then that limited license was uh, no more in action because it worked for like around 1.5 year, but after that, the policies were changed and people were not able to get the limited license before that. But now, from like around 2 months ago, the law has been passed and now it's implemented like it's full fledged. In Illinois, if you have a USMLE step 1, 2, and 3, you are eligible to apply for a license, like a limited license. Under that license, you can work anywhere in the Illinois and you can get paid like around the residency salary. And for this license, it's for 2 years. For 2 years, it's converted into a different type of license. And after these 4 years of practice, you get a permanent license. Now, what the permanent license mean is that a person who has done his residency or his or her residency in the USA for 3 years or 4 years, whatever, now that person is getting the permanent license. Now, if I compare with another person, an IMG, who just worked for 4 years without residency, He or she didn't even have to do the residency, but still he's getting a permanent license to practice as a physician in the state of Illinois. And I think that's a very big win. And there are a lot of contributions from a lot of people to make such things possible, to connect with the state medical society. Like I'm the current chair of Illinois State Medical Society for the resident fellow section governing council, and we have watched this like multiple times. And I'm very glad and to see like how this is possible now that a lot of people are able to practice without residency. This has opened a lot more doors. Now this is not just a door. For example, let's suppose there is a person who want to work, but also they want to earn as well. Now they also have the opportunity to they can work for 1 year or 2 year or whatever before residency. And then if let's suppose they get the residency spot, they can just leave that spot and then go start their residency. This opportunity can be tailored in multiple ways. And recently, like a lot of uh, institutional heads and a lot of people like program, I would say from the different hospitals, from different correction facilities, they're reaching out that they want the doctors to come in their place and work. They are willing to like sponsor visas as well. So if let's suppose you think that you wanna be you are one of the person like who can work, you guys can reach out and we'll be happy to make such connections possible so you can apply for the license, get your application signed, and then you can start working. We have helped multiple people like multiple states before, but this Illinois one is like very big win because this is my home state. Like I do my residency here, so I think I do like we do have a lot of connections and a lot of people reach out for such positions and we make such arrangements. Now the question is, before even applying for such position, you have to ask a question from yourself that are you capable enough that someone is going to hire you as a physician before residency? And to answer that question, you would have to have something on your plate that justifies that if let's suppose if there is an employer who want to hire you, that his or her decision would not be a bad one. What you can do for this is start getting the US clinical experience, like might we get like a few LOR, like so you know how the American healthcare system work. You know the EMR, you know the stuff, and just strengthen your CV and then make some connections. And if let's suppose by doing that you depict to the employer that okay now that person can trust you, you know how to work in the US healthcare system, you know about the EMR, you can see the patients, they will be more likely like able to trust you for and apply the yeah, and apply a license for you. Now another point is like there are some tips and tricks which will help you in this journey. For example, FCVS credentialing. FCVS credentialing is one of the features that helped me like when I applied the New York limited permit before starting my residency. I reached out to one of the employer and then explained that okay, I already have the FCPS credentialing, so this is gonna put me ahead of the curve of the other people like who are applying in the journey, so I can easily get a license easily because I already have the FCPS credentialing, and you just have to sign my application so I can apply for a license, and then I can start as soon as possible whenever you need. So it's more of a conviction, like how you convince the other person. And if you make things easy for yourself and for themselves, like a lot of people will be able to trust you and able to hire you as a limited license for like physician. For example, I can share a story about one of the person who reached out to me back in like around like more than a year ago. At that point, there was no such license in the Illinois implemented, but she was the one who needed a visa as well. And then I made a connection with one of the employer here in the Illinois. And like just a few days ago, she just reached out to me and very thankful that okay, she interviewed to one of them that specific employer, and then he hired that the girl, and now she's starting her position like once her license is like in active, which is gonna be like in the next couple of weeks. So what I would say is like doors are gonna open up. For example, now if let's suppose, how do you think you can connect to such employers? The number one point is just try to search the databases and also see if a few employers are like hiring people like on social medias, or you can make some like phone calls to the clinics and see if they're interested in hiring anyone. Because they're and when you start making emails and phone calls, you what you're gonna notice is that like a lot of people and employers don't even know about this law. So once they start getting awareness about this law, and there is no way that they're gonna hold back for hiring people. The reason is because let's suppose if there is an employer who wanna hire another doctor in the US who is an MD to expand his practice, he's gonna pay them like around 250 to 300 or $400,000 a year. But if let's suppose if they are hiring the IMGs, they will be paying the residency salary like around 60 to $70,000 a year. It's a big win-win situation for everyone, because you guys are getting the position, you guys are getting the opportunity, and you're earning as well. That employer is expanding just because he has you. And thirdly, the state, because the state needs doctor. So the big and the shortage of the doctor is being fulfilled. And our goal is to, fulfill the shortage of the doctors. So the population living in the United States of America can benefit from the doctors, even if there are, because nobody should suffer from lack of healthcare just because of the lack of the doctors, the shortage of the doctors. So I think, yeah, we all are in the same boat and we all are contributing in this. I think, meanwhile, let me see if you guys have asked about something in the chat box. Okay. You mentioned about anyone with information observership or any of the USC, please refer me. Okay. So I think one of Dr. Kiani is gonna mention in the chat box about the USC information. And the second comment I see is, if I'm a recent graduate, completed house job in Pakistan and completed USMLE step 1 and 2, but didn't get matched, will I be able to apply for the limited residency pathway? And the answer is yes. The reason you can apply is because you already have USMLE step 1, you have step 2, and you're passed. And Illinois is one of the states where you need step 3 to apply, but with your credentials, you can apply in other states. So, for example, New York is one of the states where you can apply just after getting ECFMG certification. A lot of people ask, like, are there a few states where people can apply without even doing USMLE? And the answer is, like, I think the Florida is one of the states. Florida has two pathways. Like, one is like without USMLE if they're a very full-fledged physician in other countries, and the other is like if you are done with the USMLEs, then they give you the house physician or a house surgeon position in Florida. And then the new state, which is emerging, the law has been passed, is in the South Carolina, where no USMLE is needed. So even you can apply for that position, or for the position in the South Carolina. But the problem is, for example, in Illinois, the law was passed back in January, but a lot of people reached out to me and they said, like, although the law is passed, but when we apply to IDFPR, they are like they're not giving us any information, and neither they have anything on their website. And I connected with them and I asked, like, what the situation is, like, because the law is already passed. And they explained that since because of the lack of the shortage of the doctors, sorry, the shortage of the employees, they are not able to update the website, and then they still need time to make it like make it work. Although the law is passed, but still the department needs some time to update their website, and just because they didn't have a lot of employees, and they were finding that. And 2 months ago, I think they were able to implement, and now people are getting the license in the Illinois. So same is going to happen in the North Carolina. For example, what happens is sometimes there are not a lot of employees available to start for the new venture they have passed, even the law is passed. So might be if you guys can keep this opportunity for a little bit later, but they have mentioned might be in the next year, like from January. you guys will be able to start getting the licenses in North Carolina. Oh, sorry, South Carolina. Now there are some professorial pathways such as in Virginia. You guys can look up for the base. They are not just basically basic requirement. All in almost every state will be the ECFMG certification. Only a few states where no USMLE is required, and otherwise, like you at least have to have the USMLE on your plate. Now let's talk about there's another question. If I'm registered, okay. So you mentioned please share how to apply and where to apply. So I wish I had a like a single template for this that I can give you website, because since there are different states, what we can do, we have created a blog section, and then anyone who has joined this webinar, we're going to send you guys an email with the complete information later on, because during the webinar, it's almost impossible to cover each and every aspect of every state where you guys can practice. So what you guys can do is you can read that blog and see what opportunity aligns with your circumstances. For example, if you have step 3, you need to employment as soon as possible, Illinois would be the best state to do so. If let's suppose you say, okay, I don't have any step 3, I am ECFMG certificate, then I would recommend, okay, go for the New York one. And if you say, oh, I don't have the USMLEs, then I'm going to recommend, okay, you can consider the Florida pathway, or you can consider the South Carolina pathway. Or if someone is living in Washington state, and they don't want to move from their home state, then I'm going to recommend, okay, for Washington also has a pathway, you can go there. So there are multiple different types. And now how to find the jobs. Since for the New York, like I connected with their department, and then I asked about all of the employers who are sponsoring the limited license physicians, and then we did write that in the blog section as well. So that would be helpful for you. So we're gonna send you the link for that. You guys can have more information related to the employer section, like how to find an employer and how to reach out to them, and what are the emails where you guys can reach out. Now the next question, a great question. I think I was about to move to this point. Does it work for OBGY in Illinois? So we have to understand. You have to understand that why did the state started this? What happens is now there are no shortage. There is shortage of doctors, primarily like the primary care doctors or the general doctors, general physicians. It's mostly for those people, like people they are hiring in those specialties. But if let's suppose there is a OBGYN doctor who has her practice in suburb area in Illinois, and she want to hire another doctor with her. Now, if you are interested in OBGYN specialty, she can hire you. This is how you're going to get the OBGYN experience as well, which is going to be helpful for you to tailor your pathways in the later in the future for the OBGYN. And then you can get the specialty experience as well. Same is going to go for every specialty. So this is how like you can tailor your system. Like you can tailor your license to uh, whatever you want to do in the future. There are a lot of opportunities that you can tailor to. Okay, so someone asked about how about the Virginia. So in the Virginia, there is a professorial pathway, and the complete information we're going to send you in the blog. Like whoever have joined, we are going to send an email where you can read more about how things work in Virginia. But I can give you a little bit of how things work in Virginia concisely. So there is a pathway in Virginia where you get a recommendation from any of the institution in from the Virginia. If you have work over there, they can recommend you to get a license. And on the basis of that, if you have USMLE, you just get a license. So that's mostly for the 2 years. And then it can be extended, and up after 5 years, you get a permanent license in Virginia as well. So this is just a little bit of the Virginia, but the complete information, the links, how to apply, we can send you later on. The next question I have is how can we apply in a position in states you're going to find out. And then the another question, please. There are a lot of information concerning in the US refusing visas to do step 3, which can only be written in the US, because this is my greatest fear after passing my step 2 now. So please, any assistance from IMG, helping hands on this issue of visa for the exam in the US. By the assistance, what I mean is like we don't have any connections in the embassy where we can make some phone call that okay, you're gonna get the visa. It's just like just the general path, but we can guide you that what are the few blunders which you have to avoid. Because if you're done with your step two, what I think is if the US if America need doctors and you are the one of the doctor who is done with your step one and step two and you want to come to the US for step three, I don't see any reason for denial. The reason for the denial could be if there are errors in your documentation, you are not displaying or you are not giving the accurate information about your purpose or intent of the US, or might be if the officer is detecting that okay, might be uh, mm, giving you the visa is not a good thing to do so because of some certain reasons. But I think if you are providing all of the documents, your visa statement, like your bank statement is good, you can apply for visa. I don't think so. You should have any fear for the visa from the US. And I've seen like a lot of people their visa sometimes their visa can be rejected for observerships, but I there are very less number of people who like who get their visa rejection just if they wanna do the step three in the US. Mostly they do get the visa because they understand okay you're here for the step three exam. So I don't think so. You should be fear have a fear. And meanwhile, Dr. Kiani, I think you can see if there is Dr. Chaudhary in the meeting as well. Meanwhile, I'm just going to continue with the questions from our audience. Okay, so someone mentioned that can you guys also please arrange an episode for PLAB pathways too? Yeah, it's a very a great topic, and unfortunately, if you're gonna ask anything about PLAB from me, I won't be able to answer because I'm more well versed in the American healthcare system. But we do have some team members who are in the PLAB pathways, like who are settled over there. And then yes, we can do. I can write it down for the PLAB pathway that we can arrange one episode specifically for the doctors who are going to the US for the PLAB. So I think yeah, definitely we can do that. Okay, then and someone mentioned, can someone give me more about the South Carolina pathway? Since I mentioned that we're going to send the information, complete information about that as well, and how to find the accepting position. I believe that's major hurdle in the pathway, especially in Florida and Virginia. Okay. I think it's more of the hurdle in the Virginia, but I don't think so. It's a hurdle in the in Florida, in Virginia, because you need a specific letter of recommendation from a chair. So that's why it's a little bit challenging, but still it's doable. But in Florida, there are a lot of areas where they need doctors, and they are able to hire a lot of doctors. Okay, someone asked, as a fresh graduate, can I apply or do I need to have clinical experience or house job in my home country? So the basic requirement is you have to have the home country license. If house job is a requirement for your home country license, then I think the answer would be yes. You have to do the house job to get a license in your home country, so you can get a license here. But then you also need to prove to the employers that okay, they can trust you. Might be you can do like one or two observerships or externships here in the USA, get the letter of recommendation, so employer know that okay, you know the American healthcare system. Okay, so another question: do you know if the step three is required in Texas? Yes, for the Texas, the law is passed, but the full-fledged rules have not been created yet. Most likely by the January, they're gonna give like a lot of detailed information about the requirements. But let's see. I have no idea about at this point if because they don't have the accurate information, exact information about the step three requirement in the Texas. Someone mentioned what kind of visas do they sponsor? Like I have seen people like employers sponsoring like J1 visa and H1B visa. These are the two types of visa, but I have seen people like employers sponsoring for these type of positions. And someone asked about what will be the right time. So of when the match results are announced in March, a lot of people leave their positions, and now those employers need new doctors. I think it's better to start making connections with those employers right now, and then soon, like when the March is going to come, you're going to see there are a lot of vacancies available. because the people who are going to match, they're going to leave their positions, and then you guys can easily get the position at that point. Okay, so Angela Visa, in order to apply for license in Florida, do we need to find a job or sponsor first, and how can I find out this opening? So in Florida, there is an application which has to be signed by an employer who is going to hire you, and then you can apply for the license. And when I applied, like 3 years back, there was a system in Arizona as well. At that point, I didn't need any mm, signature from any employer to get a license. I applied for license, I got a license, and then I was finding the employers in Arizona. But I think, yeah, in Florida, you have to have a signed application before you apply for license. Okay, so the next question I have is, I'm an old grad and ECFMG certified. Do I still have the chances to get this temporary license position? And please share the link for the employment. Yeah, for the Illinois, all the detailed information will be linked, and then yes, you can be eligible. You will be eligible to apply for this license in Illinois. Okay, please, did you say that New York can accept doctors with ACFMG certification without step three? Yes, I did say that. In New York, you don't have to have step three to get this license. You can get after ECFMG certification. Yes, someone mentioned, can you explain New York, New Jersey pathway more for someone who is done with the USMLE step three and who has EAD to work in the USA for the next 5 years? Perfect. So if you guys have already have the EAD, you don't need a visa, and you are ECFMG certified, you want New York, you can easily get a position. So whoever this person, you guys, you can reach out to us. We can introduce you to some like a New York employer, and then if they have the vacancy, you can get a position over there. Because if you already have the EAD, because now that there will be more doors, that because there will be more employers who will be able to give you the position, because not every employer is willing to sponsor the visa.
Hello, Dr. Zain. Yes, I'm actually in the meeting.
Yeah, okay. So we have Dr. Chaudhary, who is a research fellow in John Hopkins, and he's going to tell you in details a little bit more about like how the research programs are work and why research can open more doors for you in this pathway, and then how the IMG Helping Hands can help you in this. And then we're going to continue our QA session.
A very good morning to all of you. Good afternoon and good night, wherever you are in different parts of the world. First of all, thank you for connecting with us. I just want to quickly take your 5 minutes and just give you the breakdown of how our different research platforms can research projects can help you in kind of building your research portfolio, because based on that you can actually apply for other opportunities that can ultimately help you land in a residency position. So you guys are already, perhaps some of you are already in the math season, and have been noticing this trend that the competition is getting very fierce day by day. People are not getting as much interviews as they used to back in the day because of all the uncertainty surrounding this entire math process. So I just wanted to share a couple of tips which can definitely help you in developing the connections, and that can actually help you in translating your connection into getting a residency spot. So first of all, there is a new reality that every one of us need to understand, that the match season has gone from being very unbiased to something that is based most of the time on networking. Yes, matching with your credentials purely and having without any contacts is possible, but it's little tough. So what research really do is basically helps you to open all those doors through which you can actually develop your contacts. So in order to address that kind of gap, and in order to cater to the needs of the applicants, what we do is we actually help you build your research portfolio. And what we do in that context is that we have different kind of research projects. We have narrative reviews, we have systematic reviews, and we have meta-analysis. So you can join any of these projects and ultimately get the opportunity to present your research work at various conferences. And what happens in these conferences is that once you get to meet different people from different program, it could be either a resident or a chief resident or any attending from a certain program. That's your kind of a time where you can like pitch your yourself in the best possible way. So those tiny interactions gives you the opportunity to kind of pitch your elevation speech basically. And based on those connections, once the match season approaches, you definitely get invites from certain programs, because as we all know, solely scoring high scores in your exams sometimes can actually go against you. And with a certain kind of uncertainty involving around certain regions of the world where the scoring has been questioned recently, it's not always a good idea to solely based on your scores. Yes, scores are important, but there has to be other you know uh, portions in your application that kind of put you as a competitive candidate in the eyes of the program directors and the different programs. So if you're somebody who genuinely believe that you have the knack for the research, or who can definitely work on the research project, do join our programs. We have different programs, and specifically for those of you who are already in the US, or perhaps in the current math cycle, you should definitely start working on research projects that gives you the opportunity to present your research work at conferences. And for the applicants who are planning to go into the next year math cycle, do work on your research portfolio. It's always recommended to the upcoming maths applicants that you should have conference abstracts submitted, you should have conference presentations, right? Again, there is no other way that you can develop contacts with the program. You have to work on your networking skills. And if somebody gets one or two invite based on their profile versus somebody who gets two or three invites based on their networking skills, the chances for the later candidate to match is more compared to the first one. So again, that's my 2 cents, and I highly recommend that you guys work on your research portfolio as well, because ultimately, even after getting these limited licenses, you have to land up into the residency spots, right? That's always a safer choice, at least in my understanding. So start working on that, start building your network, and start reaching out to the right people who can pull some strings for you in programs. So if any one of you is interested to get to know more about our research programs, I'm going to drop our link in the chat. You definitely can reach out to us and set up a call with any of our coordinator and see how we can be of help to you guys. And we'll definitely kind of lay down the trajectory of your research portfolio from there onwards.
Dr. Chaudhary, someone asked about, like, in your research programs, you mentioned about the Firefly system you have implemented, and they just wanted more information about that.
So again, for somebody who do not have any research background, it can be a little overwhelming in the beginning to know everything about the research. Yes, we focus on covering all the basic nitty-gritties of research, but at the same time, we have this system implemented in our sessions where whatever interactions you have with our mentors, everything is jotted down and everything is transcribed in like in a written format. So every question that you ask, every query that you have during these sessions, we have the transcribed form of it, the version of it with us. We can provide you that, and you can go over it, and that way it will really help you to kind of cement the knowledge in your head if you're especially somebody who is just starting out in the research portfolio. So Firefly is basically our tool that helps you to have an access to all those transcripts, where you'll have all the written your learnings jotted down, and you can always go back to those sheets and have more profound understanding of our research skills.
Mhm. It's like a tool we provide you. Like, for example, after let's suppose if after this webinar, we have we did, but I think we give the Firefly section access just for the research programs. But I can simulate is like after this, if someone was not able to attend this webinar, or might be someone did, but they joined a little bit late, so they can ask from that Firefly bot from of ours that what did Dr. Zain discuss about Florida pathway, or what did I discuss about something else. Then whatever I've delivered in the lecture, you guys will be able to have a transcript, and then we'll be able to have get answers as well. The same thing happens for the Firefly system of the research program, where you guys can have access of the resources even later on, just to make the research learning easy and more interested, like, so you feel more, not you don't feel overwhelmed with the knowledge. So that's the
And
the
just to
Firefly system
quickly,
we have
sorry,
implemented.
Yeah, just to quickly add, Dr. Zain, I
Mhm.
just wanted to specifically, speak to the candidates who are interested in cardiology and hemong. We do have
Mhm.
some, two amazing conferences coming up with regards to cardiology and, hematology. And if you guys are interested in presenting your research work at conferences, and if you're already in the US, please do give it a thought because again, as I previously mentioned, the networking that you will develop or your network that you will develop in those conferences is going to definitely help you in the upcoming match cycle as well. So if you're interested in cardiology and hematology, do reach out to us. I've dropped a number. We'll definitely help you out to be the part of our research projects. Sorry, you can go ahead now.
Got it. Okay. I think someone also mentioned about the preliminary course of American Academy of Research and Economic and subscription. Uh, do you want to say a little bit more about that, Dr. Chaudhary?
Yes, so we do have this course available on our website. It is just to give you a little bit of idea or just to assess your basic level of understanding of research. We kind of give this a complimentary course to everybody who join our program, and you complete that course and do a little quiz at the end of that course, and that gives us an understanding like what's your basic level of research skills, right? And based on that, we tailor our approach to kind of guide you and help you in choosing the topic of your interest. So, I mean, if you choose to enroll in a program, you will definitely get an access to those, research quizzes and research courses, and that way, we'll be in a better position to guide you as per your, research interest.
Got it. Another question is, what are the American Academy of Research and Academics milestones you use and IMGHH criteria, like a ranking criteria?
Right. So one of the question that most of the mentees ask us repeatedly, are we offering any ghost authorships? Are we just charging people just to put their name into the publication? No, that's not the practice that we do here at our organization. We totally believe that this is a big responsibility that we have to make sure that whatever scientific content that we're generating, it should be of value. So that's why we have our internal criteria. Based on that, we evaluate your performance and award you the authorship. So everybody has an equal opportunity to become a first author, second author, or like any authorship position you can get based on your contribution. If you're somebody who just want your name to be in a publication without even contributing in any capacity, I'm sorry, we're not, that organization who can kind of cater to your need. But if you're somebody who genuinely, want to actively contribute and, get the opportunity to present at different national conferences, you'll definitely, will definitely help you with that regards. So, yeah, so again, those milestones are just the way based on that we evaluate your performance and, rank you and award you the authorship.
Yeah, I just want to reiterate that do not get the ghost authorships because they are going to hurt you later on. When you're going to see there, anyone is going to see in your resume, if they ask any question, like the program director is going to easily tell that if you did work in that project or if you did not. So I wouldn't recommend anyone to just even think about this because this is going to hurt you a lot. Okay, so another question in the chat box, someone asked about mm, if we get if sorry, they mentioned about do we have to pay for getting such research opportunities?
Right. I'll be very fair, with it because again, there is no kind of hideous thing about our organization. Yes, we definitely charge you a certain amount of money because we have to cover the mentorship cost and we have to cover the APC charges of different journals, right? And we also have to cover the expenses associated with the conference submissions, right? Yes, I mean sometimes people come to us and they tell us, oh, this or that journal is absolutely free of cost, or you're going to get the waiver. But every journal has their a way of charging a certain amount of money because again, if there is something good out there, it's not for free, right? And nobody is going to teach you the skills. That's the the harsh reality of this capitalist society. That I mean, if you're getting a valuable learning from any organization, institution, nobody is going to do it free of cost, right? I think the early we understand this, the better it is for us, so that we are very clear with our goals and what we're going to achieve, right? uh, Again, all you have to do is to make sure that whether you are getting the services based on the value of your money or not. if you feel like our organization is not offering you, or our program is not offering you, the services that we kind of promised with you, you can always get back to us, and we'll always accommodate you, and we'll always compensate you. So to answer the question, yes, we charge a minimum amount of money, because we have to cover the mentorship cost, and we have to cover the expenses associated with these conferences. And just to one more thing, some of the participants are reaching out to me and asking me if these research projects can help you get the research position. So yes, that's, I mean, a wonderful question, by the way. If you are planning to get any research position in the US, right? Nobody's going to offer you a position unless you have a very strong contact with that person. Otherwise, nobody's going to offer you a position based solely on your blank CV. You need to have certain publication in your resume. Only then the your PI or somebody who is interested in working on research projects with you will consider you, right? uh, so for those publications you need to learn certain skills. Otherwise, you know it's very hard to get those research projects. And once you have those skills, you can always cold email all these PIs and let them know that you have these research skills. Just to give you an example, some of
Yeah.
the countries do not have any other visas. They can only come to the US on J1, and the way they do it, they get these easy position. And that's why you'll find a lot of candidates from certain countries having certain number of publications, because these publications always help you, landing in a good research position at various universities here in the US.
That's very good. Okay. I think I also want to reiterate that I know we understand in order to run the whole research program, there are a lot of costs to cover. And uh, in order to do that, I think we do charge a fee to be transparent. But we do, I do, being IMG myself, I do understand like how, like what circumstances the IMGs face. Like it's not easy even to make a decision that we have to pursue USMLE. So to come for that, we have like UIM waivers. Like the UIM waivers is like the people, like countries which are underrepresented in medicine. We're giving them the waivers of the fees, like 50% off or so the waiver, just because they are from specific countries where we believe, okay, the whole 1 month salary of a doctor would not be that much. So I think we do consider that point as well. And during the our research programs, we have created the equal and fair opportunities cell, where you guys, because a lot of people ask that, okay, how you guys will decide the authorship after, like before submission. So we have a very, very fair transparency, like a fair, transparent system, and we have no tolerance like again for any favoritism. For example, there is a IMGH author ranking score. So when anyone enrolls, the mentor is going to calculate their score. Whoever gets the highest score, or whoever gets the lowest scores, it's that how they're gonna be ranked as authors rather than on any favoritism, because it's all transparent like article scoring system. Like whoever is like showing more interest, who is showing less interest, so they can easily be filtered out from the first class authorship. But I think as a starter, the more you should worry about is learning rather than getting uh, to know about the more specifics. But I think, yeah, what I would recommend is like start the research learning as soon as possible, because the world is changing. Like the people are not just becoming physicians, they are becoming physician scientists. So that's how we're gonna take this. And yeah, I think, yeah. Now more about after. Let's come back to the other questions you are having from us. And thank you, Dr. Chowdhury, for answering all of the questions. Someone asked about, do I need home country residency for a New York license? Where do I get the sponsors? And I have green card, step one, two, three, CFM certified. I'm a CFMG certified, 10-year experience in the home country, but no home residency. No, you don't need a home residency. You only need a home country license, and that's it. And the ECFMG certification from the US. After this, we're gonna send you the email, and that would have the list of the employers who hire limited licensed doctors. So you can reach out to them, and if they have any slot, they can accommodate you. I hope this answers your question. Someone mentioned about, is there any remote position for the research for a while? Regarding the remote research position, yes. Even in our organization, we do hire people like who have exceptional research knowledge, and we feel that they can uh, be involved with us in our research team, like as a research assistants. We do hire them as well. If let's suppose you have an exceptional resume, and are just feel free to send your resume and fill out the application and send it to admin at imghelpinghands.com. Oh yeah, a great question. Someone mentioned what type of research is good for match, like meta-analysis, wonders, or whatever. Series model. Okay. So now basically what research is, you need to know what basic research is. And what people do is they try to learn how to do narrative reviews, like how to do systematic reviews, how to do meta-analysis, or how to do database studies, or how to do original studies. So there is no specific requirement from the residency side. It all depends like how you are tailoring your research knowledge in what direction. Let's suppose you're gonna see in a person who is more interested in doing original studies. They're going to tailor their whole research knowledge by just getting the little bit of other research stuff, and then they're going to tailor all towards the original studies. But they're going to see they're going to be of other people who are more interested in narrative reviews. They want to review the literature. That's their expertise, or might be that's their goal, or they want to do that, and they can become one of the best narrative review writers. So it all depends on what goals you have, and there is no right or wrong. But I think, yeah, could be an amalgam of all, like if you can learn about narrative, systematic, meta, or CDC wonders, like whatever. But I think though there is no such specific requirement from any residency. Okay, so where can I share my email address to get details about the applying for? So, since like when you joined this, so your email might be already here. So what we're gonna do is we already have your email now, which is that like by joining this, your email came into our system, so we're gonna send you the email automatically. You don't have to drop another like your email here again. Meanwhile, I think what we're working for the new ventures to make things easy for you is we are working on something like making the more research courses, more USMLE question banks, like we already have for USMLE biostatistics, which we are trying giving a trial favor, like people for trial to people, so people can see and like how, like, if they want to just learn more about biostatistics, just clear the concepts. So we are making more question banks and video banks, so most of the IMGs can benefit at a lower cost as compared to whatever other people are offering. Yeah, we are working a lot of new ventures, and we will be helping you a lot in this whole journey. But yeah, I think now we're gonna end up this session, and we're gonna send you the email. And if you need any more information, you are always welcome to reach out to us on WhatsApp or email. Our email and WhatsApp are already listed in the chat box, and we will be happy to assist you. Okay, so just gonna take the last question, which I see in front of me is, does the research topic affect the match example if my research is on cardio topic and I am applying internal medicine? So yeah, I think a great question, and the answer would be, you have to understand that what are you applying to? Do you think there is a residency of cardiology? Obviously, no. There is a fellowship of cardio, but no residence, but there is no residency for cardio, right? And if you are applying for internal medicine, you can have cardio paper, you can have any paper. That doesn't matter a lot. But having more cardio paper is just going to give them the perspective that, okay, later on after residency, you want to go to cardio, and that could go in your favor. So if you have your long-term goal is cardio, and you are applying for IM residency, but you have all of the papers which are in cardio, it doesn't matter, because for internal medicine, a lot of people know that not everybody is going to practice as internist. A lot of people are going to they are going to go to the subspecialties like cardio, like nephro, pulmo, whatever. So you have to understand the specifics of residencies and fellowships to get this question right. All right, guys, thank you so much for in the meeting and have a wonderful rest of the day. Now I have jotted down about we are gonna send you the information. We are also gonna do a lab session because a few people requested that. And then we do webinar like every week, once every week. We invite multiple program directors, institutional officials, and multiple specialty doctors. So you can build your network, you can connect with people, ask questions from the experts. So this is how we're going to contribute. We are contributing to your success in the math journey. All right, and have a wonderful rest of the day. Bye bye.